The quest for a transformed life, a self forged in fire, immune to the trivialities and torments of a superficial world, this is no idle daydream. It is a primal ache, a deep-seated recognition that there must be more than the hollow pursuits and fleeting gratifications our modern age so readily offers. You feel it, don't you? That gnawing sense of incompleteness, that yearning for a core of unshakable strength, for a self that is not merely assembled from borrowed parts, but transmuted from the raw, often chaotic material of your own being. This journey, this profound undertaking, is what we will explore today through the lens of one of the 20th century's most revolutionary thinkers and the ancient mystical art he saw as its blueprint. We are diving deep into Carl Jung and the alchemical transformation of the self. I forget your quick fixes, your surface-level self-help. This is the path of radical self-creation, the alchemical forging of an indomitable spirit, an integrated whole. This is the great work. Before we can comprehend the alchemical process, we must first grasp the map of the inner world charted by Carl Jung. He wasn't just a psychiatrist. He was an explorer of the deepest recesses of the human soul. He understood that beneath the veneer of our conscious awareness lies a vast, potent, and often terrifying landscape, the unconscious. This isn't merely a dumping ground for forgotten memories, as Freud initially proposed. For Jung, the unconscious was twofold. First, the personal unconscious, unique to each of us, containing our repressed experiences, our unacknowledged desires, our personal complexes, those emotionally charged clusters of ideas and memories that can hijack our behavior. But deeper still, Jung posited the collective unconscious, a reservoir of latent memory traces inherited from our ancestral past, a universal psychic foundation shared by all humanity. This is the realm of the archetypes. Archetypes are primordial images, universal patterns of behavior and experience that structure our understanding of the world and ourselves. Think of them as the psychic DNA of humankind. There's the hero, the wise old man, the great mother, and countless others. But for our alchemical journey, a few are paramount. First and most critically, there is the shadow. The shadow is everything we have refused to acknowledge about ourselves. It is the sum of all those unpleasant qualities we like to deny, the dark brother or dark sister within. It encompasses our repressed instincts, our inferiorities, our hidden shames, our untamed aggressions, our undeveloped potentials that we deemed unacceptable. Society, upbringing, and our own cowardice compel us to banish these aspects to the darkness. But the brutal truth is this: what you deny owns you. Your shadow, unacknowledged, doesn't disappear, it festers. It projects onto others, making you see your own denied darkness in them. It erupts in moments of inexplicable rage, self-sabotage, or crippling insecurity. The alchemical journey demands an encounter with this shadow, not to destroy it, but to integrate its immense energy and wisdom. You are your shadow as much as you are your polished persona. Ignoring this is to live a half-life, a lie. Then there are the anima and animus. The anima is the archetype of the feminine within a man's unconscious. The animus is the archetype of the masculine within a woman's unconscious. These are not about gender roles in the superficial sense, but about fundamental modes of being. The anima often representing relatedness, emotion, intuition, the soul image. The animus representing reason, assertion, structure, meaning. When unintegrated, we project these figures onto romantic partners, leading to disillusionment when they inevitably fail to embody our inner ideal. We chase external saviors or battle external demons that are, in truth, reflections of these unowned inner counterparts. The alchemical transformation involves withdrawing these projections, recognizing the anima or animus within, and cultivating a conscious relationship with this inner other. This integration leads to a profound inner balance, a wholeness that makes one less dependent on external validation and more capable of genuine, mature relationships. It's not about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person, whole and complete within yourself. And finally, at the very center of the psyche, the goal and guiding principle of this entire transformative process is the self with a capitals. The self is the archetype of wholeness, of totality. It is the unifying center that transcends the ego. While the ego is our conscious center of identity, the I we think we are, the self encompasses both the conscious and the unconscious, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine. It is the God within, the immanent divine, the ultimate aim of individuation. Individuation is Jung's term for this lifelong psychological process of becoming an individual, that is, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. It is the journey of self-realization, of becoming who you were truly meant to be, distinct from collective norms and parental expectations, yet in harmonious relationship with the world. This is not about selfish navel-gazing. It's about fulfilling your unique potential, contributing your unique spark to the collective. Individuation is the ultimate purpose of the alchemical work, the creation of the symbolic philosopher's stone within the human soul. Now let us turn to alchemy itself. For centuries, alchemists toiled in their laboratories, ostensibly trying to transmute base metals like lead into noble gold or to discover the elixir of life. History has often dismissed them as charlatans or deluded fools. But Jung, through his deep immersion in their cryptic texts and bizarre imagery, recognized something far more profound. He saw that the alchemists, consciously or unconsciously, were describing not a material process, but a psychological one. The lead they sought to transmute was the unrefined human psyche, burdened by ignorance, suffering, and fragmentation. The gold was the integrated, enlightened self. Alchemy, then, became for Jung a symbolic blueprint for the individuation process, the royal art of inner transmutation. Central to the alchemical endeavor is the concept of the prima materia, the first matter. What is this mysterious substance, the starting point of the great work? Psychologically, the prima materia is our raw, unworked, often chaotic inner state. It is our suffering, our neuroses, our anxieties, our depressions, our undeveloped potentials, the very dross and darkness within ourselves that we typically despise and try to escape. It's the lead of your being. The alchemist said it was found everywhere, despised by fools, yet precious to the wise. It is not some exotic substance to be found out there. It is right here within the messy, uncomfortable reality of your own inner life. The famous alchemical dictum, visita interiora terrae rectificando in vinis occultum lapidum. Visit the interior of the earth, and by rectifying you will find the hidden stone. An acronym for vitriol, is a direct command. Descend into your own depths. That is where the work begins. You must be willing to face the base material of your own soul in all its supposed worthlessness. This transformative process takes place within the athanor, the alchemical furnace or vessel. Psychologically, the athanor is your own consciousness, your life, your body, the container that must hold and process the intense psychic energies unleashed during transformation. This vessel must be sealed. It must be able to withstand immense pressure, heat, and sometimes terrifying internal explosions. This speaks to the need for unwavering commitment, for resilience, for the courage to stay with the process even when it becomes agonizingly difficult. Many begin this journey, but few have the fortitude to see it through, to keep the athanor sealed when the temptation to flee, to distract, to break down completely, becomes overwhelming. The great work, the alchemical transformation, proceeds through a series of distinct stages. While different alchemical texts describe these stages with variations, a common sequence pregnant with psychological meaning is Nigredo, Albedo, Citronidas, and Rubedo. Each represents a profound shift in consciousness, a necessary ordeal on the path to the integrated self. Stage 1: Nigredo, the blackening dissolution. This is the descent into darkness, the stage of blackness, dissolution, and putrefaction. It is where the alchemical journey truly begins, and it is brutal. The Nigredo is the confrontation with your shadow in its most raw and undiluted form. All illusions about yourself, your life, your achievements, your virtues, are systematically stripped away and dissolved. The ego, that proud and fragile construct, undergoes a mortificatio, a death. Old certainties crumble, cherished beliefs turn to ash. This is the stage of despair, depression, the dark night of the soul described by mystics. Psychologically, the Nigredo is experienced as a period of intense suffering. You come face to face with your deepest fears, your most profound inadequacies, your hidden shames, your destructive patterns, the parts of yourself you have spent a lifetime denying or running from. You might feel lost, worthless, hopeless. The carefully constructed persona, the mask you present to the world, shatters, revealing the raw, wounded, and often ugly reality beneath. This is where most people turn back. They cannot bear the weight of their own darkness. They seek distractions, quick fixes, anything to numb the pain of this inner decomposition. But the Nigredo is absolutely essential. You cannot build a castle on a swamp. The old, false, fragmented self built on illusions and defenses must die. Its rotten foundations must be broken down. This is the true destruction of weakness, not by suppressing it, but by facing it, entering it, and allowing its dissolution. It's the alchemical equivalent of burning away the dross to find the essence. Think of a life crisis, a devastating loss, a period of profound disillusionment that forces you to question everything. These are often manifestations of the Nigredo. It's the rock bottom that provides the solid ground for a new beginning, but only if you have the courage to endure it. What is actionable here? First, radical, unflinching honesty with yourself. Stop lying, stop pretending, keep a journal not of your aspirations but of your darkness, your resentments, your fears, your unacceptable thoughts and feelings. Engage in shadow work, consciously look for your projections onto others. What infuriates you in someone else? There's a good chance it's a disowned part of yourself. Most importantly, stay with the discomfort, do not run. Do not seek to prematurely escape the blackness. The alchemists knew that the gold could only emerge after the material had been thoroughly blackened and dissolved. Surrender to the process. This is the forge of true strength. Stage 2: Albedo, the whitening, purification. Out of the utter blackness of the Nigredo, if the work has been endured, comes the Albedo, the whitening. This stage is likened to the dawn after the darkest night, the emergence of the full moon. It is a stage of purification, of washing away the impurities and dross that were dissolved and brought to consciousness during the Nigredo. The alchemists spoke of abludio, a cleansing or baptism. Psychologically, the albedo brings a sense of clarity, relief, and a first glimmer of hope. The intense emotional turmoil of the Nigredo begins to subside, replaced by a cool, reflective light. There is a feeling of having been washed clean, of emerging from a harrowing ordeal with a newfound purity of perception. Emotional catharsis often occurs here, tears that cleanse, forgiveness that liberates, forgiveness of self as much as others. Crucially, the albedo is where the integration of the shadow begins in earnest. The shadow is not eliminated, that is impossible and undesirable, for it contains immense energy and potential. Instead, it is understood, accepted, and its valuable aspects are consciously assimilated into the personality. What was once monstrous and terrifying can now be seen as a source of strength, creativity, or depth. For example, repressed anger, once understood and integrated, can become healthy assertiveness and the power to set boundaries. This is also often the stage where a new, more conscious relationship with the anima or animus can begin. As the projections onto external figures are withdrawn through the painful insights of the Nigredo, one starts to encounter these contrasexual archetypes within. An inner dialogue may commence, leading to a greater understanding of one's own internal masculine and feminine dynamics. This brings a sense of inner balance and completeness that was previously sought futilely in the external world. What is actionable during the albedo? Practices like mindfulness and meditation can be profoundly helpful, allowing you to observe your inner state with detached clarity. Seek understanding, not just catharsis. Reflect on the lessons learned during the Nigredo. Cultivate self-compassion, a genuine, understanding kindness towards your own woundedness, which is entirely different from the self-pity that can keep you mired in darkness. Begin to consciously look for the value, the hidden gold, in those aspects of yourself that you previously rejected or feared. The albedo is about reclaiming lost parts of the soul. Stage 3, Citronitas, the yellowing illumination. Following the purification of the albedo, some alchemical traditions describe the citronitas, the yellowing. This stage is often likened to the sunrise, the dawning of a new sun after the white light of the moon albedo. It represents the emergence of true wisdom and illumination. If albedo was about emotional clarity and purification, citronitas is about intellectual and spiritual insight. It's the aha moment on a grand scale. Psychologically, the citronitas is where emotional understanding, hard-won in the earlier stages, fuses with intellectual insight. A new, higher perspective emerges. The experiences of the Nigredo and Albedo are no longer just raw feelings or memories. They are integrated into a coherent understanding of oneself and one's place in the world. The fragmented pieces of the puzzle begin to form a meaningful picture. This is the dawning of wisdom, where the archetype of the sage or the wise old man-woman may become prominent. It's crucial to distinguish this from false enlightenment or mere intellectualism. The wisdom of citronitas is not just a collection of abstract concepts or clever ideas. It is an embodied wisdom, born from the crucible of lived experience, from the trials of suffering and purification. It's the difference between knowing the path and walking the path. The insights gained here have a profound, transformative power because they are rooted in the very depths of one's being. In some alchemical systems, the citronitas is sometimes omitted or merged with the subsequent rubedo. However, its emphasis on dawning wisdom and the integration of profound understanding serves as an important bridge from the cleansing of the albedo to the final consummation. It's the stage where the individual begins to truly understand the meaning of their journey, to see the pattern in the chaos, to grasp the why behind their suffering and transformation. Actionable elements for citronitas involve deep reflection and contemplation. Connect your personal experiences to broader archetypal patterns and wisdom traditions. Study philosophy, psychology, mythology, spirituality, not as an academic exercise, but as a means of illuminating your own inner journey. Allow the insights that arise to permeate your being, to shift your perception, to guide your actions. This is about allowing the inner sun of wisdom to rise and illuminate your entire psychic landscape. Stage 4, Rubedo, the reddening unification. This is the culmination of the great work, the glorious and much sought-after Rubedo, the reddening. It is often symbolized by the phoenix rising from the ashes, by the color red, the color of blood, passion, and life, and by the creation of the philosopher's stone. The Rubedo signifies the ultimate unification of opposites, the coniunctio oppositorum, the alchemical wedding. Psychologically, the Rubedo represents the achievement of the integrated self. Conscious and unconscious are no longer at war but work in harmony. The masculine and feminine aspects of the psyche, animus and anima, are united within, leading to a profound sense of inner wholeness and balance. Spirit and matter, heaven and earth, the divine and the human, are experienced as interconnected aspects of a single reality. The individual experiences a sense of profound vitality, passion, and purpose. The self, the archetype of totality, is actualized. Life is no longer lived from the fragmented, fearful ego, but from this deep, integrated center. The philosopher's stone, the legendary goal of alchemy, is not literal gold that can make one materially rich. It is the transformed, integrated human being. It is the individual who has achieved true self-realization, who is authentic, resilient, creative, and possesses the inner capacity to transmute life's challenges into opportunities for further growth. This is the ultimate unstoppable mindset, not an aggressive, ego-driven ambition, but a deep-rooted resilience, an unshakable inner peace, and an authentic alignment with one's true nature. The characteristics of one who has reached the Rubedo, though it is always a continuous process, not a static state, include profound love and compassion for self and others, born from the integration of the shadow and the understanding of shared humanity, boundless creative energy, and a genuine freedom from the tyranny of the ego's demands and fears. This is where true energy mastery becomes manifest. Life is lived fully, passionately, and meaningfully. The individual becomes a beacon capable of inspiring and even healing others, not through preaching, but through the sheer force of their integrated presence. Actionable aspects of the Rubedo involve living authentically and courageously from this newfound center of wholeness. It means expressing your true self in the world without apology or compromise. It means engaging with life, with relationships, with your work from a place of integration and love. It means embodying the wisdom gained through the arduous journey. And it means recognizing that even this stage is not an end point, but a new beginning, a continuous process of refinement, of living out the implications of this profound inner union. The work is never truly over. The gold must be continually burnished. So what does this alchemical gold, this integrated self, look like in the grit and grind of daily life beyond the mystical symbolism? It's not about levitating or performing miracles. It's about a fundamental shift in your way of being in the world. First, it means authenticity. No more masks, no more contorting yourself to fit others' expectations, no more living a life that feels like a poorly fitting suit. You know who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, your light and your shadow, and you live from that integrated truth. There's a solidity, a congruence about you that is palpable. Second, it manifests as profound resilience. This is true mental toughness, forged in the fires of the Nigredo. Life will still throw challenges, pain, and loss your way, but the integrated self does not shatter. It bends, it learns, it incorporates the experience, and it grows stronger. You don't just survive adversity, you transmute it into wisdom and deeper character. You have faced your inner demons, the outer ones seem far less daunting. Third, a deep sense of purpose arises. This isn't necessarily about some grandiose, world-changing mission, though it can be. It's an inner compass, a conviction that your life has meaning and direction, driven from within, not imposed from without. you know what matters to you, and you align your actions with those core values. Fourth, your relationships are transformed. When you have integrated your anima or animus, when you are whole within yourself, you no longer seek partners out of neediness to fill a void or as screens for your projections. You relate to others from a place of fullness, capable of genuine intimacy, respect, and love, recognizing their wholeness as well as your own. Finally, it leads to creative living. This isn't just about art, music, or writing, though it can certainly fuel those. It's about bringing a spirit of creativity, vitality, and innovation to all aspects of your life, your work, your problem-solving, your interactions. You become a co-creator with life rather than a passive victim of circumstance. But here, another brutal truth. The great work is never truly finished. Individuation is a lifelong journey. The alchemical gold, the integrated self, needs to be continually polished, continually tested, continually lived. There will be new descents into Nigredo, new challenges that threaten to dissolve your hard-won integration. But each time you will navigate these dark passages with greater wisdom, greater strength, and a deeper trust in the transformative process itself. The spiral of growth continues, always leading to higher levels of consciousness and integration. We have journeyed together through Carl Jung and the alchemical transformation of the self, from the unworked prima materia of our raw, often suffering psyche, through the terrifying dissolution of the Nigredo, the cleansing purification of the Albedo, the dawning wisdom of the citronitas, and culminating in the glorious union of the Rubedo, the birth of the integrated, authentic, and truly powerful self. This is not mere psychological theory or arcane historical curiosity. It is a living map, a timeless guide to the most profound adventure any human being can undertake, the deliberate and courageous creation of oneself. This path, the alchemical path of individuation, is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those seeking easy answers or comfortable illusions. It demands everything from you: your courage, your honesty, your perseverance, your willingness to face the abyss within. It is the ultimate act of self-mastery, the forging of an inner citadel that cannot be breached by the storms of life. So the call to action is not to simply understand these concepts, but to live them. Embrace your own alchemical journey. Dare to look within into the shadowed corners of your soul. Confront your darkness not with fear but with the curiosity of the explorer and the determination of the warrior. Seek your inner gold, that unique, indestructible essence of who you truly are. Do not settle for a superficial existence when the unfathomable depths of your own being hold the key to an unstoppable, authentic, and profoundly meaningful life. The great work awaits. Begin it today. The world does not need more hollow shells, more echoes of conformity. It desperately needs more whole individuals, more men and women who have dared to transmute their lead into gold. Become one of them.